Hey, what's up guys, the Lone Top 10s here with another awesome video just for you. The Lone Top 10s production, obviously made just for you guys. So some of these words might make you beat red, but are the people who use them always misinformed, or is there more to the story? Whether we like it or not, the English language is changing. It will continue to change, even though it developed from a language that had a great many rules. German grammar is a tedious thing. We've all but done away with many of them for the sake of convenience. Sometimes we add rules about how a word should behave, what it means, how to make it plural, only to have that word change entirely. But languages are defined by their speakers, so no matter how wrong the new change might seem, we just have to grin and bear it, or argue to the ends of the earth to stand on the side of correctness. That works too. Well, this might seem a little vague, so we'll look at some examples. Here are 10 controversial words that might be not as wrong as you think. So we're going to start off with number 10. First of all, guys, with octopi. Alright. So it is a common thought and even a common teaching, but this word is correct. There's a historical reason for that. But the most correct plural is not really octopi or octopods, as some socially inclined grammatarians out there who don't understand that etymologies are not good small talk would tell you. The most correct plural of octopus is actually octopuses. Alright, this is because the word octopus is not Latin, so the correct plural is an octopi. That word isn't Greek either, though, so it isn't octopods. The word octopus is actually a relatively recent Latinized Greek word. It is coined by Carl Linnaeus, the man who we call the father of taxonomy, the fancy animal naming system back in the 1700s. Given that somewhat mixed origin, it's far safer to use a standard English system of pluralization rather than turn to the Greek or Latin. On the other hand, these plural forms aren't entirely incorrect either, just more controversial. The word octopus could be thought of as an ancestor of the Latin word polypus, which plural is polypi. So from a certain perspective, octopi could be correct, and Linnaeus himself used the plural octopods, even while clearly understanding polypi to be the plural formed from the original word. It seems no matter which plural form you take, somebody somewhere will think to correct you for it. Just want to let you know. Number 9, ordinary. Alright, ordinary. The word ordinary is a different beast. Despite being quite difficult to spell, it isn't a word that has accepted an unconventional spelling, and the pronunciation differences are quite insignificant. Instead, this is a word that has taken on a different regional definition that isn't listed in most dictionaries. When using this word, many people from the South or Midwest in the United States imagine that they're describing a rowdy or mischievous child. It could be thought of as an endearing or affectionate term. But this word can also cause a bit of a cultural clash. It's often used negatively to refer to somebody who is disagreeable, stubborn, or easily upset. There are several examples spread out over the internet's existence of people discovering the word's true meaning and then going on forums and other discussion sites to talk about their experiences, like here. Although major dictionaries don't define this alternative use of the word, or the alternate use of the word. Some sites like Wiktionary do that. Dictionary isn't the most credible authority on any subject, though. So it may be a while before we see the popular regional variant of ordinary officially recognized. Number 8, literally. Alright, the misuse of this word is a common complaint. Some who use this word have a verbal tic, as in, I literally can't even right now. For others, it's a form of hyperbole, as in, I feel literally on top of the world right now. But whatever the case, literally should never be used to convey anything except an entirely unquestionable, literally true claim. Or that would have been true 6 years ago anyway. The word literally was used so often in a figurative sense that the Oxford English Dictionary literally added that definition in 2011. What naysayers of this sense of the word may find interesting is that literally has been used as a figure of speech for over 250 years. Even Mark Twain used the word in its more cringe-worthy sense in The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Despite its addition to the dictionary, literally, as used in a figurative sense, is still not standard English. It would be a bad idea to include that usage in a dissertation, but only those who enforce standard English on the general population will correct you for using literally in a casual environment. Right? Number 7, ain't. This list won't be complete without the word ain't. Even if it is fairly common information that ain't very much is a word. What is less common information is that ain't has been in dictionaries for over 250 years, albeit as slang, and became a proper non-slang, but still non-standard, word in 1993. So the old adage, ain't a word and I ain't gonna say it, isn't entirely accurate. Actually, ain't evolved from an earlier contraction called ant or amped. Amnet. It's just kind of crazy. For a good portion of English theory, in English history, I should say, not theory, the word was used unironically, even by writers like Tennyson and Swift. Then the word took on too many uses, also represented is not, and then has not. Well, after that, a wave of prescriptivists of the 18th and 19th centuries, people who promoted certain grammatical practices while discouraging others, decided that ain't should become an abomination, a sort of chimera. Now, these groups of people are also part of the reason that contractions in general are discouraged in essays and more formal writing. Today, ain't is an acceptable informal word. Literally everybody in the English-speaking world knows what it means, and there's not much reason to guilt people for using it. It's doubtful that it'll ever lose its stigma in former circles, though. Just remember that. Number 6, Alright. Everyone knows the song Alright from Caddyshack, right? Well, the most common educated action when presented with this word is to mark it with a red pen and tell the writer to update their spell check. But interestingly, this spelling has some backing, even though more formal circles would slap a writer on the wrist for using it. The combination of the words all and right into a compound word has been done throughout history. Even in Old English, we have the compound phrase, what's this called? Error. Alright. One of the most popular songs is done by The Who is The Kids Are Alright. And authors like James Joyce used the word too. Well, I should say famously in Ulysses. You know that, who's read that novel? I haven't. So, despite its history of use, the reading of this word often registers a scowl on the face of editors, as many hate the word, using the word alright in writing as an act of rebellion. There is simply no need for two words that serve basically the same function, they would say. It's alright to use this word though, but only for those who like to live dangerously, or yeah. It may not be standard now, but there is a push to make it so. Just remember that. Number 5, hopefully. The most common meaning of this word slipped into the English language somewhat quietly. At one point, though, the word referred to an action that was done in a hopeful manner. A person could look on a situation hopefully, or look at the sky hopefully, but they could not say, hopefully this situation will end favorably for me. Surprisingly, the change to the word was first documented as late as the 1960s. But even though AP Style finally accepted the word in this sense, a select few still hold on to the idea that it is incorrect. The reason for the controversy is that the meaning of hopefully, when used as a sentence adverb, can't be directly understood from this sentence. Hopefully does not translate to it is hopeful that. Hopefully instead modifies an implied subject, translating to I hope that, or we hope that. Just remember that, guys. Anyway, however, this argument, except the word has always been tenuous. Words like sadly or thankfully work the same way, well, with the meaning simply implied for the context. Despite their similar construction, nobody bats an eye at their use, probably because hopefully in its new sense is such a recent inclusion, while words like sadly predate it by quite a long time. Number 4, irregardless. Defending this word is certainly not a popular thing to do. Any writer who did so would surely have to issue this type of disclaimer. I'm sorry in advance. Please don't send a lynch mob after my family, and please keep the comment section civil. The word's origin is very unclear, but it's probably a hybrid of regardless and irrespective, in an attempt to sound educated but an ultimate failure. Now, irregardless, the word has been around for quite a while, first appearing as far back as 1795. It's one of the more controversial words in our language, and despite much instance to the contrary, it is in fact a word with its own entry and everything. Like, hopefully, though the meaning of irregardless doesn't follow literally. The ir and less both mean the same thing, forming a kind of redundant double negative that should technically mean the opposite of what is intended. Chances are, if we ever gains acceptance as anything other than non-standard, it would be idiomatic, or something like that. It wouldn't be the first time that a person or phrase becomes figurative due to a linguistic misunderstanding. See, also, I would care less, another linguistic irritant that's gained traction over the years. Number 3, per use. This word frequently appears on a list of words you probably use it incorrectly, but there's more to the story than that. Like, literally, per use is host to a controversial double meaning due to common misuse. Like, literally, the new definition addressing the misuse only cropped up recently, sometime late in the last century. A small handful of dictionaries added definitions in the 80s and 90s in response, but not every dictionary agrees with the new meaning yet. The primary move and paraphrase for the word per use is to read or look at carefully or thoroughly. Alright, its original meaning is synonymous with a word like exam or inspect. Now, by contrast, the new meaning for the word is to skim, to look through in a casual or selective manner, or to look at. These definitions, upon close inspection, are opposites, with one struggling, I should say, sorry about struggling. suggesting a thorough examination and the other a few simple glances. Now, it's like the difference between reading Harry Potter or On the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. One, per usual, involves a close look into the social-political framework of the Wizarding world, while the other, per usual, probably involves Wikipedia and a lot of caffeine. Some would say that this dual meaning is actually harmful and could cause confusion. On the other hand, a word with two potential opposite meanings is not altogether unheard of. It's called a contronym or autoantonym or Linus word. And these words can either reflect the more fun or interesting aspects of our language. To bolt can mean to run away, but it can also mean to hold in place. Fine can mean perfect, or it can mean only adequate. Sanction can mean to improve or to boycott. It might be fun trivia, depending on whether a game of Scramble sounds like a good time to you. The original confusion may have arisen because per use it sounds like browse, or because the prefix per can mean either through or entirely. In the original definition, it's the latter per use, literally translated to thoroughly use or to exhaust, as in to look at every aspect of something. The confusion can have also happened due to simple ignorance. People might have heard the word, and though it meant to read rather to exam, then they started using the word to sound more intelligible, not realizing that they were creating an entirely new definition. Number 2, fulsome. The words on this list, fulsome is probably used the least. This infrequent use is probably one of the reasons that people use it in a wrong sense when they use it at all. By far, its most common use is in the expression fulsome phrase, which would sound like a good thing. The word sounds positive, drawing mental associations to full and wholesome. At one point, this was exactly what the word meant. Then Samuel Johnson, considered the father of the English dictionary, went and goofed everything up. He and Noah Webster thought that the word fulsome, which mostly held a positive connotation for hundreds of years, meaning copious or abundant, drew its roots from the word foul. In his defense, he was probably only cataloging how the word was used in his lifetime, and the Old English words full, essentially foul, and full do look similar. In any case, fulsome gained its negative connotation. However, many have fought and continue to fight for its original use, even as far back as 1868. The word simultaneously retains both definitions, and even former President Barack Obama used the word in its much older positive sense. He came under some scrutiny for that, and for the fact that he misused enormously a word which just missed this list. It's another word that may create an entirely new definition because people incorrectly associate it with size. Fulsome phrase usually means disgustingly over the top insincere phrase. Now, but some have assumed its meaning to be more positive. Historically, they're not entirely wrong. Just want to let you know. Number 1, self-deprecating and deprecate. Now, the holdouts against this word are few and far between, but they do exist. In an archaic sense, to deprecate meant to pray against or ward off, or to disprove earnestly. A word like self-deprecating was once viewed to be incorrect, while the correct word was self-deprecating, meaning literally to lower the value of yourself. Alright, but self-deprecating is fallen into disuse, kept alive largely by people who want to maintain a notion of correctness because they view self-deprecating as wrong. They are right that the meaning of self-deprecating does not literally follow, but even standard English has come to acknowledge the word as proper. The other place where this controversy emerges is in software and code industries, where the word deprecate has come to become obsolete. This meaning has also been accepted, but there are some who say it doesn't logically follow, as in this blog's comments. For whatever reason, the term deprecate became associated with computers, even when the association doesn't logically follow. Surely when a feature becomes obsolete to some degree, it makes more sense than that it's been deprecated, not depreciated, not deprecated. Even this text editor denies that depreciated is a word. Likely a big part of why deprecate is historically been used where deprecate makes more sense is that depreciate makes more sense is that deprecate is just easier to say and rolls off the tongue. In any event, software developers are likely to stop using it, and self-depreciating is much less popular than self-deprecating. Alright, that's pretty much about it. Whole ton of talking done. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to Lowline Top 10s for more videos Monday through Friday. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to share this video. And if you have any other wrong words that are actually right, just let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.